Your diet is very important when it comes to packing on size and building muscle like a Giga Chad, but it's very difficult, especially when you're kind of broke, busy with work or school. You don't know how to cook for shit, you don't have any time, and you're kind of a dumbass like myself. Sometimes it feels kind of impossible to diet successfully when you're in this kind of situation, but it's not impossible, and I got you, bro. I'm gonna help you out today. All right, so where can you get the cheapest foods? So I'll go from most expensive, cheap options to the cheapest options. So third place is Target, second place is Walmart, and then first place is Aldi. So those are the three best options when it comes to affordable food. All right, let's go to the store and I'll show you some good cost-effective options for bulking. So I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'll see you in a sec. All right, I'm here at Walmart. So before I go into the store, I just want to explain how you can get some pretty much cheap proteins. So the first thing is to seek out locally grown types of meats that are specific to your area. So what do I mean by that? Well, your area might have bison meat that is locally grown, like a lot of parts in the United States, that you can't really get anywhere else. So a lot of times that meat will actually be a lot cheaper and a lot better quality than just like the regular types of meats. In some areas of Europe, you can get locally grown reindeer meat, which is a lot cheaper than other meats, and it's also gonna be better quality. And also, if you live by the coast, you might be able to get some sort of fish or some sort of seafood that's a lot cheaper than other types of meats, and it's a lot better quality. So do some research on your area and figure out what are some local meats you can get, because a lot of times they're gonna be cheaper and better quality. The second tip is on frozen chicken breasts. So usually frozen chicken breast is around half the price of just raw chicken breast. So if you care about your money a little bit more than you care about your time, I would recommend you get the frozen stuff. And then last tip I have is stew meats are also a pretty good option if you have a lot of time and you're decent at cooking. So stew meats are pretty much just cuts of regular meat that are usually a little bit tougher, a little bit less tender than the more expensive meats. And the thing is, they'll taste just as good as regular meat, but they do take longer to cook and you have to like make them in a stew. So if you know how to make stew and you have the time to do it, I recommend it, but I'm not gonna put that in the video because this is for like easy diet plans, and I feel like a stew is kind of hard to make. All right, so first we gotta find a protein source. Okay, so 4 pounds of chicken breast for $11. That's an insane deal. So we're gonna get this. All right, now we're gonna get ground beef. Usually you want to get around like 85-15 or 90-10, and this is only 13 bucks. This 12 pack of eggs was only $1.92, so I got 2 to eat around 3 eggs per day. Make sure you also always open the box and check, because sometimes the eggs are cracked. You don't want to get any cracked, shitty eggs. Okay, now let's get some carbs. For carbs, this is an absolute Chad option because these are super quick to make. It's 20 packets for only 4 bucks. So make sure you get some sort of instant oatmeal. It's cheap as fuck. $5 for 5.5 pounds of potatoes is an absolute steal. I got 7 bananas so I can have one every day, and this was only $2.50. Bro, pasta is the Chad option because it's super cheap and it's a pretty good source of carbs for like bulking. So this single box right here, which is more than enough, is only 2 bucks. Ramen's also another good option. It's not very good for you, but it's super cheap and extremely easy to make. So one of these packets is 33 cents. And you can also get one of these crates for almost 3 bucks. But I'm just going to get the packet for the sake of this video, and I'm going to get 2. This can of peanut butter will be our main fat source. We'll also get our fats from the eggs and the ground beef. And also any sort of cooking oil like butter, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil. Those are also really good fat sources. So you'll get your fats from that too. Well, when you get vegetables, you want to get the frozen shit because it doesn't go bad, and it's usually like half the price, and it's easier to cook. So yeah. And we're just gonna finish it off with a jar of pasta sauce. You don't really need this, but I just like it. So all of this like reasonably healthy food, like right here. Like, look at all this shit. All this for 49 bucks. As you can see here, I'm holding the groceries in a bicep curl position for maximum gains. Okay, so I just wanted to show some good bang for your buck food sources. So they're pretty cheap, but you get your money's worth. And then here are some most cost-effective proteins per dollar. All right, here's the first meal. It's like an oatmeal bowl. It's super fucking simple. So all you need is 2 packets or just 1 packet of oatmeal from the bags. Then you need 1 banana, and then you need your peanut butter. Now, if you're balling and you're living that luxurious lifestyle, you can just add some honey, cinnamon, maybe even some milk, and then some like fruit if you want. Okay, to start this off, you want to get a bowl, and then you're going to want to pour 2 packets of your oatmeal in this bowl. Now for 1 pack, you're going to want to have around 2/3 of a cup of water. And then for 2 packs, you're going to want to have a little over a cup. All right, so just pour that bitch in there. It's pretty simple. You just pour water in a bowl, and then you mix it up. And then once you're done mixing it up, just place it in the microwave for 1 minute. And then you take it out. Then you just mix it up again for like 20-30 seconds. And then after that, we're just going to place it in the microwave one more time for 30 seconds.
Just depends how you like it.
So I usually just microwave it for 1 minute, then stir it for like 30 seconds, and then microwave it again for 30 seconds. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this, but if you do, just put some extra milk in there, just because it tastes a little better. Cut up your banana like this, pretty self-explanatory. Then you just put your bananas in the bowl. You can also put apples in there if you have one. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the apple or the bananas for this video. So just place them in there like that. And then get your peanut butter. This is probably around 1 full spoon, maybe 2 spoons. And yeah, just put that in there. And if you can, cinnamon makes it taste a little better too. And also if you have a little bit of honey, you can do that. And then also, I'm just going to put some blueberries in there because why the fuck not? It tastes pretty good. And there we go. It's super easy to make. It tastes pretty good, and it's a great bulking meal because it has a bunch of calories and a lot of carbs and a good amount of protein. Okay, so this next one is super easy. You want 2 eggs, 1 pack of ramen, and then you're going to need 2 pots. One's going to be for the ramen, one's going to be for the eggs. Okay, so then fill the pot up until the surface of the water is about 1 inch above the egg. And then just take the eggs out and we're gonna let this water. So once the water hits the boil, then we're gonna place the eggs inside of the boiling water. Now, one thing is, there's no right way to boil eggs. It just depends on how you like them boiled. This photo right here demonstrates pretty well of what the consistency will look like based off of time. Okay, so for around 1 pack of ramen like this size, which I'm gonna be doing only 1 for this video, you're gonna wanna use around 2.5 cups. And the thing is, that might seem like kind of a lot, but a lot of the water will go away when it starts boiling and steaming. So for 1 pack, use around 2.5 cups. Then you're gonna wanna just put some ice in some cold water. And the reason why I wanna do this is because when the eggs are done cooking, you wanna place them in this cold water, because if you don't, then they'll still keep cooking while they're in warm water, or even if they're just in the air. Okay, so how we're gonna time this is once this big pot hits a boil, we're gonna place our eggs inside of it, and then we're also gonna turn on the small pot. And then pretty much 3 minutes before the amount of time you're gonna cook the eggs for, so for me it's gonna be 11 minutes, that's when we'll start cooking the ramen, because the ramen takes around 3 minutes to cook. So pretty much just figure out how long you wanna cook your boiled eggs for. I'm gonna do it for 11 minutes. So at the 7 to 8 minute mark, I'm gonna start cooking my ramen. So this means that they'll both be ready to go at the same time. All right, now we're just gonna take the eggs out. We're gonna put them in the cold water so they stop cooking and cool down a little bit. Then we're gonna open this up. As you can see, it looks pretty good. So we're gonna just drain it out like this. Pretty much, I just use a spatula and I just slowly drain out the water just so the noodles don't fall out. Keep a little bit of the juice though, that's what makes it taste good. Now you can cut up some greens if you are living luxuriously. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then you just cut the eggs in half and place it on. And then I put some hot sauce and it tastes good as fuck. Okay, for this next one, you wanna get some vegetables that you got, 2 potatoes or 1, and then some chicken breast. Then you're gonna get some seasoning, butter or oil, then a pan. And then we're gonna set the oven to 410 degrees. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our chicken breasts. We're gonna season them. Make sure you rub the seasoning in so it actually like gets in the meat a little bit. And then also just make sure you season any like areas that are like holes or anything, so you can get the seasoning in there like this, and just flip it around, you know, make sure you get it everywhere like so. And then after this, we're gonna get our potatoes and we're gonna microwave them first. So you wanna make sure you poke holes in them so they don't blow up, because if you don't, then your potatoes are gonna like explode, and that's pretty bad. So then add some butter or olive oil, whatever you want, to your chicken. this will just make it a little more juicy and like have like a nice crust on the outside. So I just smear it around a little bit. Then once the oven reaches 410 degrees, we're gonna grease up our pan. So you could use a pan, you could use a casserole dish, doesn't really matter. And yeah, just grease it up with some avocado oil or olive oil, whatever. And just place those bad boys on there like this. And then we're gonna leave it in the oven for 30 minutes at 410 degrees Fahrenheit and 240 degrees Celsius. All right, so for around the thickness of the chicken breast that we have, I'm gonna put it in the oven for around 30 minutes to cook at around 410 degrees. So I just put them in right now. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes and then we're gonna cook the potatoes in the microwave. Now when you place the potatoes in the microwave, the timer for the chicken should be at 25 minutes. So when they're done cooking in the microwave, it should be at 20 minutes. So we'll just place those in. Now, once you take them out of the microwave, we're gonna prepare them for the oven. So we're just gonna, add some butter. You could do olive oil, whatever you want. I just like butter. I'm just gonna lather them in that, oil them up, and then add some pepper and any spices. Then we're gonna place them in, and these should cook for around 15 minutes with the chicken. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the pan to high, and we're just gonna let it heat up. And to test to see if it's hot enough, well, first of all, we're gonna spray this oil on there. But to test to see if it's hot enough, you're just gonna wanna flick some water, and if it bubbles, then it's hot. Then we're just gonna place these on. Now there should be around 5 minutes-ish left to the timer for the chicken and the potatoes. And then once you're done, it's all timed correctly and you have a giant pile of food. One thing to consider is that meal that I just made is pretty big. So usually it'd be a little bit like half the size, like only one piece of chicken and maybe 1 or 2 potatoes. But I was just hungry as fuck, so I decided to make 2. All right, bro, this one's pretty easy. It's pretty hard to fuck up. So you need noodles, red sauce, ground beef. You need any sort of spices you have, and an onion, a pan, and then a pot. So, and then also get some salt and pepper, and then some oil. So put the water in the pot, and we're just gonna set it to high and wait for a boil. Then we're gonna just get an onion, and we're just gonna dice it up into small pieces. I'm using around 1/3 of an onion. You don't need this. I just think it adds a little bit of flavor. And then, yeah, just dice that shit up into amounts that look kind of like this. I mean, that's just how I prefer it. You can do whatever you want. Then just put a pinch of salt inside of the water. Then put a little bit of olive oil, like maybe a spoonful, and just stir it up. And we're gonna wait for it to boil. So the water to pasta ratio is 1 to 2, so I'm using around 1/2 pound of pasta. So that means I'm gonna be needing to use around 1 pound of water, which is 1/8 of a gallon. Okay, so once the water's at a boil, just put the pasta in there. I'm using around 1/2 pound of pasta. And then, yeah, just stir it around once it's in a boil. So I like to stir it like every 3 minutes or so, just to make sure it's like all even and stuff. So pretty much every 3 minutes I'm gonna stir it, and I'm gonna cook it for 12 to 13 minutes. So while we're letting that cook, let's heat up a pan. And to test if the pan's hot, just flick some water on there and you'll see it bubble up. So yeah, you can see that right there, it's hot enough. So now we're just gonna check on the pasta. As you can see, we just gotta stir it again, every 3 minutes or so. Now we're gonna go to ground beef. So pretty much how you wanna cook it is you wanna just split it up into small chunks like this, and you want each side to get browned a little bit so it has that like layer of like kind of crispiness. So I like to just let each side cook a little bit and then chunk them up into smaller pieces every 30 seconds or so. So just keep doing that. Pretty much just looks like this, and you'll see a lot of the beef will be cooked and you'll see a lot of steam come out. But what you want to do is you want to cook past that point so you can get that nice brown color on the beef, so you can get that nice sort of like crispy taste. So just season it while it's cooking. I'm just putting paprika, salt and pepper on it, and a little bit of garlic. I think it tastes pretty good. Once again, you can put whatever you want. All right, so these 12 minutes have gone up, so we're just gonna drain out the pasta. So I just used a spatula just to keep the pasta in. And then once again, we're just gonna keep breaking these pieces up a little bit, just like this. And yeah, as you can see, it's starting to brown more. It's not gonna have that gray color. It's gonna actually cook, because a lot of people, they just let the steam sort of cook it, but you also want to let the oil cook it so it gets that crispiness. So here's what it looks like when you go past the point where you're just letting the steam basically cook the beef, and here's what it looks like when you basically just let the steam cook the beef. So you want it to have that like browned color, not just that gray color. So we're gonna add our onions in probably around halfway when we're cooking our beef. So we're gonna do that. Once again, we're just gonna keep basically breaking it up. The onions add like a nice sort of like caramelization flavor. Then we're gonna add the noodles in when the beef is pretty much done being cooked. I like to season it again just to get the noodles seasoned and shit. All right, so just add the noodles in once you're finished cooking the beef and it's fully cooked, and then turn off the stove. So I added 2 cups of red sauce, and pretty much, yeah, just turn off the stove, and then we're just gonna mix it up, and the pan will pretty much still heat everything up. So even if the noodles are cold, they'll still be warm. So just mix that shit up as good as you can. And then it comes out like this, and it tasted pretty fucking good. And yeah. Okay, so I'll leave a link in the comments or the description of the actual recipes so you can just follow it. So it'll have like all the ingredients and everything you need. Okay, so it's a good idea when you're trying to bulk or just do any sort of dieting to meal prep, especially if you're busy and you're in school and you have like a full-time job. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, what I like to do is I like to do it on 2 days. So I don't really meal prep for breakfast because those 2 meals are super easy to make, and I have time in the morning, but throughout the day I don't got much time. So pretty much what you do is you give yourself 2 days to meal prep. So on Sunday we're gonna do that, and then those meals that we prepare will last us 3 days, and then on Wednesday we're gonna meal prep again on the night of Wednesday, and then those will last until Sunday. Pretty much the reason why we do this is just because when you like leave your meals sitting for like 7 days, sometimes they get kind of old and nasty. So I like to do 2 days. So I'll show you how to do this exactly. Okay, so first of all, just choose like which meals you want to cook. They could be the ones from this video, they could be something you found online, but just choose what you want to cook. And basically just choose how many times you want to eat it. Do you want to eat this twice a day? Do you want to eat it once a day? Just whatever it is, right? Let's say you chose the chicken thing that I made and you want to eat it once a day. So what you're going to do is you're going to get all the ingredients from the one single dish and basically multiply all those ingredients by 3. And then you're just going to cook it in bulk. And that's pretty much just how it works with any meal. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description of notes that'll have the exact amount of ingredients, so you can pretty much just multiply it by the amount of times you want to eat it within those 3 days. Okay, so now we're going to be pretty much just customizing our macros, and this isn't as hard as you think. So we're going to be finding out how many calories should we be eating, how much fats should we be eating, how much protein we should be eating, and how much carbs we should be eating. So you don't need to be super nerdy about this and exact. So the first thing is proteins. You should be eating around 0.7 to like 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to be eating around 180 to 200 pounds of protein every day. All right, so how do we find the amount of calories we eat for a lean bulk? Pay attention, this is simple, don't be a retard. So pretty much what you can do is, first of all, just go to a calorie calculator, just fill it out, and it'll give you a rough number of what your maintenance calories are. So the amount of calories that will maintain your weight. Now this isn't perfectly accurate, it'll give you a rough idea though, and then just add around 200 to 500 calories to that amount. And then the next thing you can do is you can pretty much just multiply your body weight by around 15 to 17. When you multiply your body weight by around 15 to 17, you also get a rough number of how many calories you'll be eating. If you don't want to do all that, which is not really that hard, but if you're just too lazy to do that, you can also just eat more. Like if you're not gaining weight right now, you probably just need to be eating a little bit more. So just try either one of those 3 things. I think the first 2 methods are better, but do what you want. So don't overcomplicate this. Just use one of these methods. You pretty much just need to eat more than you are right now to gain weight. And pretty much if you aren't gaining weight at all and you're even losing weight, you just need to increase the amount of food you're eating. And that's pretty much it. All right, dude, that's pretty much it. Hope this helped out. This is really good if you are like in college or you're young or you just don't have much money to do a bulk. It's really good for beginners as well. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description of all the recipes, the whole grocery list, some other notes from this video, so you can just print it out, take a look, and you can have like a list of actionable steps you can take. So the least you could do is give me a like and subscribe. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.